everyone. This is Chris Shubert, Vice President of Business Development at CNSG, and welcome to the latest edition of Zoom, where we zoom in on industry thought leaders. Joining me today is Kane of IntelePeer. Sean, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So my name is Kane. I'm the SVP of Channel Sales for IntelePeer. I've been with IntelePeer. This is going on my 7th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a dog's age, right? But I've actually been in managing sales teams and selling technology since 1989. So as much as it pains me to say it out loud, I've actually been doing this for almost 30 years now. So my background, I started, and this really, I think, will lead into part of our discussion. Mm-hmm. When I started right out of college, I worked for the largest manufacturer of key telephone equipment in the world, a company that probably most of the folks who listen to this never heard of, Tie Communications. They're gone. The market moved, technology changed, they didn't innovate, and they're no longer here. But at the time, they were the biggest in the world. Then I moved over to another big name at the time, and I went to work for Wiltel. And Wiltel was a national distributor of Nortel Communications. Here's another interesting thing. That's about 5 years later, and once again, one of the industry behemoths in Nortel disappeared. They failed to innovate, and they no longer exist. And I think an example of even your Zoom podcast is the way people communicate today is changing. And if you want to really be successful, you have to be where the market is. So after going to Wiltel and selling Nortel PBXs, ironically, we also sold their point-to-point data lines and frame relay, another technology that has gone the way of the dinosaur. So I think after that, I started my own agency selling network services. And at that point in time, we sold AT&T software-defined network, RCI, and Wiltel long distance. All three of those things no longer exist. But at the time, they were a very hot commodity. So I think you're starting to see a pattern here of how technology changes and market shifts, successful companies innovate. And I'm super happy to be part of IntelePeer now. I'm going on my 7th year. I started here as a regional sales director building the Southeast Territory. And at that point in time, we were helping enterprise customers innovate and transform by moving from legacy PSTN networks to voice over IP. And that's what we were mostly known for over the last 5 or 7 years in the channel. But today, I'm super excited to highlight yet another innovation and transformation that's coming which is communications platform as a service, which we believe and analysts believe is the next big thing.
Well, I appreciate that background there. And I loved how you framed that as you've worked with all these companies and technologies that are no longer around because they didn't evolve. I used to say I had a resume back in the day of different companies that I'd been with that had no longer been around. And I promise you, I'm not bad luck. I'm actually really good luck for your company.
Right.
Yeah, some of the places that I've been just didn't evolve. Now, as we look at IntelePeer, our community, IntelePeer's been around for a while. You're an established name. You're not someone that people go, who the heck is that? But one of the things is that you have been traditionally known for as, that global SIP trunking provider.
Sure.
Bad to the bone. If you need SIP trunking, great. But as technology is evolving, so is IntelePeer. And tell us the story of what is IntelePeer today and why is CPaaS so important to your new strategy?
No, thanks. That's a perfect question. So I think if we take a look at it, let's just look at some facts that are just kind of out there. Mm-hmm. The world is changing. We see generational shifts. We see technological shifts. And we see societal shifts in the way people communicate. 15 years ago, if you had a toll-free number and you had a FedEx account, you were pretty much current with being able to ship packages and communicate with people. Then we moved to email. Well, today, if your corporate communication strategy is based on email and a toll-free number and being able to take phone calls, you are way behind the times, because that's not the way society communicates today. The thing that we start and finish our day with is this smartphone. We're unnaturally glued to these things, and most of us even wake up to an alarm clock on a smartphone. The first thing we do is check our text messages. So at IntelePeer, as you said, we've been widely known as probably the best voice services provider out there. The more sophisticated the customer, the better the fit with IntelePeer. And if you know our background, we started as the SIP provider to the tier ones. And then as the market moved and customers could then get SIP licenses for their PBXs and controllers, we were SIP certified and continue to be SIP certified with all those manufacturers. So customers can take their old key systems and PBXs, and when they move them into a data center and they want to figure out, now, how do I get all those individual PRIs to get those local calls into our single data center now that houses our controller for 10 locations? Well, that's a perfect fit for IntelePeer. We take all those DIDs and toll-free numbers, turn them into a virtual entity, and just point them to an IP address. So we still build the most redundant and resilient voice solutions for customers, and we give customers the ability through a customer portal to self-manage and control. And all of our customers, for the most part, utilize us for voice. But a couple of years ago, we noticed some things that were changing. SMS that was used by consumers, person to person, was quickly becoming a way businesses were actually getting eyeballs on message with their customers. The stats today tell us that SMS texting is the #1 method of communication for adults under 50 years old. And worldwide, SMS is the #1 app on smartphones. So I like to think of it like this. UCaaS, right? Think of the big players, RingCentral, 8x8. That was the evolution of the PBX for the business office. And CCaaS was the evolution of ACD for live agents, routing calls to get the person to the individual that could help them the most. But CPaaS is actually the evolution of the way society now communicates. And that's why the analysts in IntelePeer expects huge growth in this space, $22 billion by the end of 2022. So there's tremendous upside here. The opportunity for us in the channel is that CPaaS does not replace the phone system. It does not replace the contact center. It complements both of those things. And a customer can have an old PBX that isn't cloud-based and still enjoy all the benefits of platform as a service, because it's a platform in the cloud. It doesn't require the customer to have infrastructure. Mm-hmm. And if a customer has a big contact center, they can also go ahead. Sorry, now we said things happen. I have somebody banging on the front door as we speak, but hopefully they'll just go away. Funny.
Maybe you can send them a text message and tell them you're too busy to chat right now.
Yeah, for sure. So CPaaS is actually the evolution of the way society communicates. And really, if I look at us as the customer advocate, customers don't know about CPaaS technology. They know about UCaaS now, they know about CCaaS, but they don't know how to modernize their interactions with their internal associates and their external prospects and customers. And we in the channel can show them a way that they can really do that and enjoy the benefits of that customer experience and go in where the customers are. And the customers are on social, they're on SMS, and some of them still want to talk, but that's not the preferred method anymore. Take a walk through the mall. You won't see anybody on the phone. You'll see them texting.
So let's dig into that a little bit deeper, because, from thinking from a partner perspective, when I hear the term CPaaS, communication platform as service, is it just text messaging? And is it what is more than just sending text messages out to your customers?
Perfect. So, IntelePeer's focus is what we call CPaaS 2.0. So CPaaS 1.0, the first iterations of platform as a service are out there. And I'll give you an example that everybody will recognize. Uber. So if you look at Uber used digital transformation to completely change the way we hail rides. Before Uber and the mobile app, we used to have to call a taxi or go stand out on the street and wave somebody down. Today, all we do is click a button on our phone, which starts an interaction. And from that interaction, I can find out how much it's going to cost to get from here to LaGuardia Airport. I can see analytics immediately, who the drivers are, what kind of car they drive, what their experience is, and how much it will cost. And without ever talking to anybody, I can quickly order a car. I can continue to have my meeting in a restaurant, and as soon as the car shows up, the app, the platform will notify me that the driver's there. At any time during that interaction, I can text that driver, like, for example, say, hey, I'll be out in 1 minute, don't leave. I can walk out of the restaurant, look outside and see 5 white Priuses, which isn't uncommon in New York. And I can quickly convert that same interaction to a live call. Call the driver and say, I see 5 Priuses, which are you? Now I can get in the car, go to the airport, right? Have a great experience, not get lost, not have to worry about if the credit card machine works because it's all automated. I can get out of the car and the driver can survey me and rate me. I can give the driver a survey, a marketing survey in that same interaction, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. I can even convert it to an e-commerce interaction where they'll say, hey, you gave Johnny 5 stars. Why don't you tip him? Do you want to tip him 15, 20, or 25%? They don't give you a 10% option. So I give Johnny 20%. He did a great job. So we actually went all the way through to an e-commerce interaction. But as they say on infomercials, wait, there's more. Not only did that happen, now that interaction can be, since my Uber account is connected to my American Express, it automatically puts the receipt on my Amex bill, and Amex is connected to my expense reporting software, so it automatically puts it on an expense report. Think of the way that interaction changed the customer experience. Not standing in the rain, not having a credit card machine that doesn't work in the car, not getting lost, putting it on an expense report. It has forever changed the experience that we can't go back to standing in the rain trying to wave down a car. It just doesn't make sense. But that Uber interaction, that was a great example of what we will call platform as a service 1.0. That was where a company had a team of developers and millions of dollars, in Uber's case, hundreds of millions of dollars, to create an unforgettable interaction using digital transformation that improved the customer experience.
So if that is CPaaS 1.0, what is 2.0? Can you tell us about a case study where IntelePeer made a difference to a customer?
Perfect. So where we fit in with CPaaS 2.0 is $1 million budgets and big developer staffs represent less than 5% of the businesses out there. IntelePeer wanted to build a platform solution that was available to the other 95%. We wanted our customers to be able to create those unforgettable interactions quickly, easily, and affordably. So our platform is designed just for them. Our platform, a customer can create one of those interactions without any coding experience. We like to say it's easy enough for non-coders, but powerful enough to excite developers. So you can create simple interactions or you can create some unbelievable interactions. You wanted me to give you an example. So one of our customers who's been with us for years, probably 4 years now, they moved from traditional PSTN to voice over IP. You can find them on our YouTube page. There's a great video case study of them. They're called Secure Transportation. And they're kind of the medical transport Uber for insurance companies. So somebody's sick and they need to get to a doctor's appointment. They schedule the call, a driver picks them up and drops them off. They have a contact center with 1,000 agents, a big Mitel contact center with 1,000 agents, and we do all their voice for them. They're toll free, they're inbound, they're outbound. Well, when we launched platform as a service, we went back to them and said, how do you do the post drop off with the customer? And they said, well, one of the agents in our contact center calls the person's cell phone. If they don't answer, they leave a message. They try them back several times. So they had all this manpower smiling and dialing, leaving messages and not connecting with the actual customer who just got dropped off. Why? Because they're sick. They probably don't want to have a conversation and take a phone call, or they're just getting out of a car. Their smartphone's not handy. We said to them, why don't you create an interaction using our platform that as soon as your driver closes the drop off, your database can reach out to our platform and initiate a text out to the customer. If they're a certain age group, if they're above 50 years old, don't send them a text. Send them a voice broadcast message. And the voice broadcast message right out of the platform, no live agent can say something like, hi, I see we just dropped you off. In your own words, can you tell us how the experience went? And now our platform uses sentiment and tonality and listens to what the person says. If they say everything's fine, it went perfect, they say thank you very much for using it. If they detect any discomfort or unhappiness or upsetment, the platform can score the sentiment and tonality and immediately transfer it to a live agent. If the passenger's under 50, they can send them a text that just says, hey, just wanted to ensure your experience was great. If it's great, text yes. If not, let us know, text no. If they text yes, it says, great, please use us again. We appreciate the business. If they say no, it gives them an option. Would you like to speak to an agent? Right, so now they can quickly interact. What that did for them is, instead of having to have twice the staff trying to live connect with somebody, now their actual live agents can interact with people rather than process phone calls. And the platform can do all that work behind the scenes.
So obviously, CPaaS can be a true game changer for how a company operates and the analytics that they get from dealing with their customers and really transform their customer experience. But I mean, this you mentioned Uber in your first case study. You mentioned in this second company here with lots of interactions. That sounds like it could be a fairly large size customer that you're dealing with. What really is the sweet spot for CPaaS? Is it only big customers, or can a small SMB customer make use of this as well?
So I'll give you another quick example, and this came from the channel. It's a live customer. So the answer is yes, there's applications where an SMB customer could potentially be a huge CPaaS prospect. They might only have a small internet circuit and a small staff of people, but that doesn't mean that they don't interact with a large customer base. And you don't need a lot of people for automated interactions. You need smart technology and great analytics, because the market prefers not to speak to people. When I call into a supplier now, if I get a live agent and that person says something like, oh, let me check the database, bear with me, it's slow today, then I should have never been transferred to that person, because a platform as a service can go right into the database, pull the information, and present it immediately. And that's really what I want. People don't want to get their information during office hours or call back between 9 and 3. With a platform as a service, you can be available to your customers anywhere, anytime, from any device they want to interact with you on. And if they want to interact on social, you can. WhatsApp. If they want to call, they can interact on voice. They can interact on text. And the analytics allow you to look at an interaction and actually fine tune it. So you can see what the customer experience was, where there was a lull in the interaction, and then using our insights analytics dashboard, you can actually see whether it was a call detail, a message detail from an SMS, or an application detail record, and you can fine tune the recipe so that the customers get what they want, a fantastic, fast experience, and the business gets what they want, the expected outcome, more sales, better customer service, boost brand loyalty. All those things come available from being able to tweak the platform.
Awesome. I think most of our community today is familiar with how SIP trunking is priced and how that works. CPaaS is a little bit different than that. If I'm looking at a CPaaS customer, what's the pricing experience going to be like? What are the different elements that are involved there?
Great question. So what happens is think of it this way. If a customer has their own controller, and let's take an average customer, mid-market customer, 200 knowledge workers, and maybe historically they had 2 PRIs, which they upgraded to 50 SIP trunks. Mm-hmm. Well, that customer is using their own infrastructure. If they have 50 SIP trunks, they can make 50 concurrent calls. What if they wanted to reach out to their customer base to let them know about a big sale and they had 2,000 customers? Well, if they use a platform, they could communicate all 2,000 messages, voice, broadcast, or SMS out to all 2,000 customers in minutes and never cannibalize their own infrastructure. So here's the way the consumption model works. And this is different for IntelePeer as well. We sell a software license and subscription to the company. And the company and the rack rate on that subscription is about $3,000. Okay. Once they have the software license, they can go in and create as many interactions as they want, quickly, easily, and affordably. So marketing can use it to test new products. IT can use it for event updates. HR can use it. Hey, open enrollment starts at noon today, because people don't respond to emails anymore. Emails, best case scenario, you get a 15% look rate. Like we have a great big bank customer, a huge bank customer, and we went to see them and they go, our first application for this is internally. We have 2,000 people. And if we're doing an offsite meeting somewhere and the auditorium has no AC and we have to get people to move, we have no way to communicate with them real time. We could quickly now go into the platform, create an outbound campaign, tag everybody who's supposed to go to auditorium A and just say, go to auditorium B instead. And then they'll all get a text immediately when your phone beeps or vibrates. You pull it out of your pocket and you look at it and they go, oh, go to Salon B. And now they walk down the hall. None of those people would have saw the email, right? So we have a license that's rack rate $3,000. And that license includes the ability to do 3 things. It allows you to create programmable voice and programmable SMS. It allows you to load campaigns. So you could take a list of, here's a great application, by the way. Partners always struggle to build relationships with the CFOs or the CEOs, but they often start their relationships with the CTOs or the IT people. Mm-hmm. Now, this product gives you a really wonderful opportunity to expand your relationships laterally inside an account, because the CFO is usually the person who stops the procurement process. In our experience with platform as a service, the CFO can be the person who sponsors the adoption of the technology, because almost every single company has accounts receivable, and almost every single company struggles with collections. Using a platform like this, rather than giving your receivables to a collection agency, you can just upload the list of your customers who are 1 day past due, send them a friendly reminder via text, which they're going to see. Your email is going to go to spam and be deleted, and then they can either click to pay or click to call, and all of a sudden you were giving away a huge percentage of your receivables to a collection agency. Now, for the cost of the license, it could pay for itself on the first set of invoices. So, and once that works, the CFO is like, hey, marketing, why don't you guys to test new products? Hey, HR, why don't we get enrollment cleaned up? That type of thing.
And that's a unique thing too. Many times in the channel, we do get very focused on cost optimization. We do, what can we do to cut the bill for the customer, But this is really a very simple product. If you have a customer that is in the budget range of $3,000, it's just marketing. Let alone what they're doing with their own company, with HR and their sales force. You've now given them the ability for a flat fee to really create a new engine for interfacing with their customers, which in turn can grow the revenue for the company.
Yeah, and I'll just complement that. So think about this. Mm-hmm. If your customer has a contact center where they're paying for inbound toll-free calls and people waiting in queue while that meter's running, and live agents who, the biggest expense for companies walk in and out of the building on 2 feet. If you can use the platform to automate the interactions that don't require a live agent, think about it. The cost of an SMS message is less than half a penny compared to a toll-free per minute rate to sit on hold, and then the hourly cost of the agent. All of those interactions that can be automated and give the customer what they really want, which is immediate gratification, can save a company thousands of dollars while improving the customer experience and connecting with the market where it is. And that's on smartphones today.
And that is evolution. So right. Let's turn this a little bit back toward you as we kind of finish up here. Yeah. You've been with IntelePeer for 7 years, which in telecom is 7,000 human years. It's a lot of stress, a lot of fun here in the channel today. What specific is your role at IntelePeer? And along with that, what fires you up about this company? You seem pretty passionate about it.
Yeah. So, okay, good. And it is a long time. And I'll tell you, I'm not alone in having a long tenure with IntelePeer. When we won a customer who bills about $200,000 less 2 months ago. And when our team went in, the first thing the customer said is, we've met with other suppliers and the average tenure of the people around the room is less than a year or 2 years. And I was actually the person with the least amount of tenure at the table from IntelePeer. Right? Our SE had been there 11 years. Our regional director had been there 8 years. And I was the newbie with 7 years. And they said that in alone tells us a lot about your company, because for people to stay that long, they must really believe in what you guys do. And I can honestly say to you that I have never worked for a company that has a better service organization than IntelePeer. It's so great to know that once a customer comes on board, that they haven't seen the best of us yet. Once they interact with our operations team and our NOC and our support folks, and you can ask around in the channel, IntelePeer customers love IntelePeer. And we've won a lot of awards for that. So that's one of the things that fires me up about IntelePeer. The other thing that fires me up about IntelePeer is, we talked earlier how evolution happens and companies have to, adapt and change and innovate to stay relevant. And one of the things that's super exciting about IntelePeer is our senior leadership team and our board is very forward thinking. So, 2.5 years ago, we started allowing our customers at no charge to add SMS to their DIDs and toll-frees because we saw the generational shift becoming a mainstream societal shift. And we wanted to be in the right place when it happened. And that's why we're so thrilled to be a global provider of CPaaS, because it's all coming together as the next big thing. And a proof point about that is you take a company like 8x8, who's world known for UCaaS, and they just ran out and bought a CPaaS company because they see that society is moving to CPaaS as a preferred method of communication. So that fires me up, number one, that our service organization is second to none. We won a Gold Stevie Award the last 2 years, the only company in the telecom space to ever win one for Customer Service Department of the Year. I love that our leadership and our board is forward thinking, and we're all about speed and being in the right place at the right time. That's why we've successfully been able to navigate through 3 chapters of the company history. Traditional voice for suppliers, voice over IP for enterprise, and now this big shift to the next big thing, unforgettable omni-channel interactions for society. And that's super exciting. So that gets me up and out of bed. My specific role is that I'm charged with coaching and developing a sales team for the United States. We're global now. My boss, Jeremy Jones, looks after us globally, but my charge is North America. And our team consists of biz dev, who communicates with the partner channel exclusively. That's the role, keeping in contact with the partner channel. We have channel managers, East and West. That's a deal desk, because our regional sales directors are out in the field in NFL cities, team selling with partners. So we want to have a resource that partners can get somebody live to help them with customer calls, quotes, questions, virtually 15 hours a day. I would argue that if you text one of our CMs, you'll get an answer pretty quickly, regardless of the time. And then our regional sales directors. So we have across the country in NFL cities, regional sales directors, and they're in field evangelizing CPaaS, team selling with partners, and taking good care of our customers.
Well, fantastic. Sounds like a heck of an organization and a lot of resources out there in the field for our CNSG community to interact with as they too evolve into the CPaaS world. Well,
Yes,
Sean,
sir.
I can't thank you enough for your time today on the Zoom. I look forward to seeing you out there in the field. Last question for you. We talked a little bit about the sales organization, but if I'm a new CNSG partner, what's the quickest and best way for me to interact with IntelePeer?
Best way to interact with IntelePeer is on the platform as a service. You can simply text. If you're a new CNSG or an existing CNSG partner and you want to see who you should work with, just text the word coverage, COVERAGE, to the telephone number 650-238-9884, and you will get a demo of platform as a service. The platform will interact with you. It will give you a coverage map. If you text CPaaS to the platform, it will send you video links on how the service works and how to use it. Just text that number, text it hi, and it'll start interacting with you. So you can interact with the platform, again, 650-238-9884. And we also are going around the country virtually almost every month. We have a breakfast club in cities, and we invite partners in to come have breakfast with us, and we show them the platform and play with the platform, and it gets folks thinking and creates opportunities for us.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to go grab my iPhone right now and text that number so I can get the data as well. But for the rest of our audience, thank you so much for tuning into the Zoom, and we will see you next time. Thanks.